Let's bring you a really inspirational story now, because the 20-year-old ambulance driver, Billy Abernathy Hope, came up with an idea to help the homeless people in Bristol. Instead of donating cash, he designed an alternative plastic chip. Then that chip can be swapped for food, drink and shelter.
Well, sadly, Billy was killed in a motorbike accident in Thailand in 2018, so he didn't see his idea become a reality. His family, though, have now launched the BillyChip in his memory, and John Maguire visited Bristol to find out how it works.
Billy was the most incredible energy. He would light up a room as he walked in, and everybody kind of knew that the night had started when Billy had turned up. But he, on the flip side, for a 20-year-old, was also incredibly caring. He was an incredible person, and I am so lucky to be able to say that he was my little brother, because nobody else gets the privilege of doing that.
An ambulance driver and care worker, he'd always tried to help people. And a conversation with his father about loose change spawned an idea. One that his family has turned into reality in his name, the BillyChip.
So this is how it works. The businesses supporting the scheme have a sticker in the window. Simply come in. Hi, morning, have a black coffee please. And a BillyChip as well. One of those will cost you £2. You can then hand that to a homeless person. They can bring it back and exchange it for a cup of tea, a coffee, a sandwich, whatever it might be. It's a brilliant, simple but effective idea.
We can tell people about Billy that never met him, but also for his friends I think it's really important. But also for people that have never met him, it's to let them know that somebody who, yes, is no longer here, he cared that much about them, and actually there's plenty of people behind the Billy forefront that care about them too.
Sleeping rough can be cold, dangerous and stressful, with help in short supply.
What do people like? They help you, they're kind to you?
No, many people don't care to well. If the people like the public cannot give support from the public, I don't make this money.
Often, passers-by feel conflicted about giving money directly to homeless people, so this provides an option. Naseem Tulukdar runs a charity that cooks homemade meals for homeless people and believes the BillyChip is an effective way to help.
It's the best way for the local businesses to engage the homeless people, which is another issue they find it very difficult. Sometimes they find it very disturbing. So it would be a nice way to have that relationship where they have something to give, and in return the business can provide them with hot drinks, support and sandwiches.
And that's part of the reason why this cafe is one of the first to sign up.
We like it here, and obviously the homeless community is part of that. We know them, we meet them all the time, and we feel for them. You create relationships, and to give back to a community makes sense if you are part of the fabric of it, because it gives back to you as well.
On the back of the chip are the words Billy wrote in an impromptu Mother's Day card. "You're fabulous and don't forget it." In death, as in life, Billy continues to help those most in need. John Maguire, BBC News, Bristol.
Well, we saw Billy's sister Meg in that film. She joins us now with her mum and dad, Sarah and John. Morning to you all. Thanks for being here. Meg, maybe I'll start with you. I mean, talk to us about Billy. And you've had a lot of work to do to get this off the ground, and we'll talk about that project in a moment, but tell us about Billy.
Bill's was incredible. He was such a kind soul, but he was also a typical 20-year-old, you know. He could be naughty, he could be nice. He was, you know, he was a normal kid, but he was so compassionate that it kind of, people never expected it of him. And I think through his job and the kind of social responsibility of looking after people through that is where this idea stemmed from, sort of first of all, for him.
Because Sarah, it's quite unusual for a lad of that age to take his social conscience to the next level and decide to do something about it. Were you surprised?
No, not really. I think I brought the children up to be very compassionate and be kind, so... And he was very demonstrative as well, and he didn't mind who he kissed and hugged in front of, you know, anybody.
John, tell us a little bit about the project then and how it works, because it was something he wanted to do. It was an idea, and he met a lot of homeless people as part of his job, but also when he was out and about and he would go and speak to them, and this was an idea that he had to give back.
Yeah, we were just having a normal conversation one night, and he said, you do a lot for charity, but you never give money to the homeless. And I said, I know, but there's that sort of issue with, are you enabling a habit? Are you doing the best thing for that person by giving money? I said, and sometimes it sort of feels a little bit uncomfortable with me, whether or not that's the right decision. And as a young person with, no restrictions or any sort of boundaries, he just said, well, why don't they just do a token that could operate like this? And I said, that is a fantastic idea. That's such a brilliant idea. You should do that. And he said, yeah, I will, but I'm going off to learn to scuba dive and I want to go travelling. But when I get back, I might put some energy into that. And then obviously we were left with the legacy of that idea, which we went to a Paloma Faith concert and she was talking about the homeless, and that was what sort of triggered the idea, because it had sat dormant for 4 or 5 months. And we haven't really thought about it at all. And then that sparked the idea again, and all the stars seem to have aligned, and it's just been so well received. It's been incredible, really, totally overwhelming.
And Meg, what do you think Billy would make of the fact that you've taken his idea and you've run with it?
I get a lot of feelings from him. I think because we were so close, I can almost imagine how and most of the time he's banging his head on the wall going, I can't believe you've actually gone and done this. What have you done? But it's a really lovely feeling, and, weirdly, if Bill's was here, it probably would have never have happened. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, and I think, everything happens for a reason, and the way that we lost Billy and the kind of shock that came out of that almost not shook us into kind of going, life's too short, but it does. It's one of those things that, sort of everybody says. But, yeah, I think if Bill's was still here, we probably wouldn't have launched the BillyChip, but the fact that he's not, but we can continue his legacy is incredible.
And I'm looking at the back of the chip, and we saw it there in that news report, and it says on it, and this is important for you, and you can explain to me in a little moment about why, but it says you're fabulous and don't you ever forget it. So explain the significance of that on the chip.
So this was Billy's Mother's Day card just before he died. I always liked handmade cards, nothing fancy, bunch of daisies, and this is what he wrote to me.
And on that card, I don't know if viewers can just see it there, but yeah, just hold it up there so they can have a look, and it's exactly that you've then transposed onto the chip, isn't it? You're fabulous and don't you ever forget it.
And I had a tattoo on my bottom of it to keep it forever.
I bet that card means the absolute world to you now, doesn't it? As does the expansion of this scheme, so you're hoping it will spread beyond the southwest.
Yeah, and that actual saying now is it's almost like a gift that, the meaning that sits behind that, and talking to homeless people on the street, even they mention that, and the sense of support that they feel from the chip and the words that are written on it. So that's really encouraging for us that, we are doing the right thing, and it's going to make a difference to a lot of people's lives.
It's such a sensible idea, and I hope it carries on growing.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
No, thanks for having us.
Thank you so much.